So let's say that you watched my previous episode, where I talked about all the cool aspects of the game, and you thought to yourself that, okay, let's give it a shot, let's try out the game. Then the next logical question would be like, where do I start? And what exactly should I grind? And which are the best tanks in the game and which ones should I get first? So I would like to invite you to Let's Paint with 905. Where we're gonna be drawing circles and crosses, and hopefully by the end of this video it will be clear to you which tanks you should grind out and probably which tanks you should leave for later. Then the obvious answer is gonna be the T14 Armata, and matter of fact all this line, they're all great tanks, and they're just excellent for the first line of tanks to grind. And you won't have any problems with any of these tanks, except for this tier 1. That's shit. But other than that, all this tank line is great. Maybe with a slight exception that tier 7s and 8 aren't that spectacular. But tier 9 is excellent, and tier 10 is arguably even better. But I really like the tier 9, and the tier 10 is just super strong at the moment. So, and what's going on with the second line of the Russian main battle tanks? Let me just switch this. So, this is excellent. I like this one as well. This is a great tank. And this is probably the best tier 5 in the game. The only one that I didn't particularly like is the tier 6, the T80. T80B, but T80U is much better tank than T90. T90 is not bad, but T80U is just excellent. It's fast, has a great armor profile, it's low profile, and generally just decent tank all around. Probably one of my favorite tier 7s at the moment. When it comes to the challenger line, there things start to get a bit tricky. You're not gonna enjoy this tank. You're not gonna enjoy this tank, and you're probably gonna hate this tank. But tier 7 is excellent. Tier 7 is excellent, and I would say the tier 10 is great as well. But these two you're not gonna like. So definitely get the challenger one, but then think twice whether you wanna go through these two to get the tier 10 challenger. And the best thing about tier 7 and the tier 10 challenger is they're slow, but they have a great armor profile. But that's probably not the best thing going for them. The best thing going for them is basically I wouldn't call it the fear factor, but if there's like you and a couple other guys at the spot from your team, those guys gonna be targeted first, because nobody wants to deal with a challenger or challenger 2 first. First they're gonna kill all the other tanks around, and after that, if they're still alive only, then they're gonna take care of you and your challenger. So next one we have is the T15 tank destroyer line. Which one I have, the cross one. I don't remember this, and they're probably not good. This is shit. This is shit as well. Actually though, let me take that back. I think that one I really liked, and this one I liked a lot. I'll get back to that in a second, but this one is shit, and you'll hate this tank, and you'll hate that tank as well. But T15 is just amazing. So tier 5 is just an all-around decent tank. It's fast, maneuverable, with the guided missiles and autocannon. Tier 7 is excellent because it has two anti-tank guided missiles and autocannon as well. I think it reloads about 18 seconds, those 2 rockets, but and what you basically can do is just poke out, shoot those 2 rockets, or use a bush and shoot out those 2 rockets and then go somewhere and reload. Yeah, I really like this tank, and I think it's a great tank. When it comes to Ramka and Terminator, they're not exceptional, and I can't say that I struggled with them, but I did not enjoy them. The T15 on the other hand, well, that's a completely different story. So same like with the Challenger line, definitely get to tier 7 one, and then basically think twice whether you want to struggle through the Ramka and Terminator to get to T15, but T15 is definitely worth it. So let's scroll down to the light tanks now. PL is excellent. Stingray is super strong at the moment. Sheridan is excellent, and the Big Light Panzer is excellent as well. But when it comes to these other tanks, these were decent as well. I remember them quite well. These, shit. So that one's great. That one's great. But you can't really compare Stingray 1 and Stingray 2. First of all, it's less accurate, and what else? And the armor profile is not that great. So Stingray 2 is miles better than Stingray 1, so definitely get the Stingray 1. And then again, the Buffered and Thunderbolts are nothing to write home about. But the PLO1 is great. But I wouldn't say that it's a priority to grind it out. Like T15 is great, and definitely grind that out if you manage to get through these tanks. This one, definitely get the Stingray, but this one you can leave to the later time. So now we are in the Zhangfeng texture line, where basically all the Chinese tanks are. And let's see. You know what? They're not special. They're not special, and they're actually quite terrible, all of them. But the new tier 8 Chinese tank, that's just crazy. Not even the armor is good, the speed is good as well, but the gun and the TPM of that gun is just crazily good at the moment. So that's gonna take you 7 tanks to struggle through to actually get to one decent one, but trust me, that thing is worth it 100%. The artillery you can only play in PvE, and to be honest, I didn't play the tiers 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know these tanks. I started with Palmaria, and yeah, it's alright. It's decent. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just artillery. You point and shoot, but I would say it's a meh. And so with the Paladin, it's a little bit better, arguably, than the Palmaria, but it's still a bit meh. But this thing, I fell in love with this thing. It has auto-loader with 3 shells, and those 3 shells reload like 17 seconds. I think it's a really great tank. As for tier 10, I can't really comment because I haven't driven it yet, but this thing is well worth it. The tier 9 artillery, it's a great fun. It's a great fun, and you should probably get it. When it comes to Chinese tank destroyers, I would say it's a bit of hit and miss with them. This is quite bad actually, just because it's so slow. It has 2 guided missiles and autocannon, but it's slow, and you won't probably get any pleasure playing it. Well, on the tier 7, you only get the autocannon, and basically tier 8 is exactly the same, but you have 2 ATGMs to go with the autocannon as well. But I don't know. Personally, I didn't leave the tier 7. I sold that one because I like the tier 8 a bit more than I like the tier 7, just because of the fact that it's more flexible due to those 2 rockets that it has. But they're both great actually. There's gonna be crossed over and circled around, so it's alright, and it's a decent one as well. But this is really great tier 9 tank. It's basically light tank with an auto-loader, and it has nothing to do in this line, but it's there, and definitely get that one. That's a great fun. When it comes to tier 10 tank destroyer, it's quite an interesting tank. it's a real sniping tank. It has really great accuracy. It has really great DPM, and it has really great aiming speed. But you will not be able to hit anything while you actually move. So if you, this tank can go like 100 kilometers per hour, but if you're moving only like half speed, like 50 kilometers per hour, then you will actually try to hit something while on the move. I can bet you will miss. So that's like, I never seen anything like that with any other tanks in this game. But this tank is like a pure sniping tank. You'll have to get in your positions and just. But if you actually get in those positions when you can just utilize your DPM, it's crazy good. It's crazy good. Yeah. So I'll circle that one as well. So finally we are in Wolfley Tech Tree, where basically you can have all the German, American tanks and all the mixed match on those. Like there's some Italian tanks in the middle as well. Let's start with Abrams, and the whole Abrams line is great. That's great. That's great. That's excellent. And they just nerfed the tier 6. It was pretty much on the same power level tier for tier as the rest of them, but actually now it's still alright. It's much better than these fucking patents, that's for sure. This is garbage, that's garbage. This is excellent. But you'll have to struggle through these. You're not gonna enjoy the patterns. They're so slow and they doesn't move, and you think they have the armor and they don't. But tier 7 is really strong, and the rest of the tanks are really great as well. So yeah. When it comes to tank destroyers, which one I have selected? The Cross. I don't know about this one, it's probably shit. And Starship is shit as well, don't play it, it's garbage. Let me just switch back to the circles. So this one is great, you'll enjoy the tier 1, but as I said, you'll have to struggle through these to get to the decent tanks. For the tank destroyers, they are excellent. All this line, well, they're tank destroyers. You have to understand that they move fast and they don't have any bloody armor whatsoever, but they're great tanks. This one, the tier 5, is particularly good, and from tier 6 you're getting the autoloader. Only thing I didn't like is the tier 7 Centauro 105, but once you get to tier 8 is great, tier 9 is great, and Draco is great as well. So let me just cross that one off the list. You will have to struggle through this one, but if you sort of like that camping play style and you just want to play from the distance, or you can even support with these autoloaders, you can even support. This one is not autoloader, this is autoloader, this one, and that's a crazy autoloader, but it has low penetration values, so just keep that in mind. So next what we have is the Leopards, and this is shit. This is the tier 5 is actually the same shit as tier 3, just with a bit more armor around the turret. Then actually the tier 4 is better tank of these three. This is some Italian, basically they took the Leopard and the Italians made their own version of the Leopards or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but actually this one is more armored, and you can actually use it hull down. If you're gonna try to use these two hull down, then you're gonna get in a lot of the trouble, but you'll think that these tanks have something to go for it since they don't have any armor, but they really don't. They don't have speed and the DPM is rubbish. But tier 6 is excellent. I really like the tier 6. Tier 6 is probably one of the strongest tier 6s in a game, is the Leopard 2 AV. The armor, the speed, the gun, everything is just top notch. Tier 7, you're not gonna be impressed by tier 7, and I would argue that it's a pretty shitty tank. Tier 8s, the Evo was really great until now. They slightly nerfed it, but it's still really great tank. And they slightly buffed the 2A5 as well, so that actually is playable now. But when it comes to tier 9s and 10, don't bother. At least if you have some other tank lines to grind those, and don't bother, just leave them. They're definitely not worth it. When it comes to the armored fighting line of the Wolf Fleet, then I would say this is a bit meh, this is a bit meh, this is a bit meh, but I really like the tier 6. Tier 6 I think is excellent tank. It has great rockets and it has a great autocannon, and it's just an instant switch between them. Like some of the tanks you actually have to wait like 2, some even 3 seconds while you switch from rockets to the autocannon, but on this tank you don't, it just happens in an instant. So you can unleash the rocket, and while the rocket actually flies, you get to shoot your autocannon again. It's just crazy. The DPM is crazy on this thing. I really like that tank. And basically tier 7 with small changes is exactly the same as tier 6, so there's not much of an improvement. Otherwise that it doesn't see, this one doesn't see tier 9s and this one does, so I would say no for this one. But the tier 8, the Dragon 125, it's great. There's only one downside with it. It's massive. It's like a fucking boat, but the gun is great, the DPM is great, the camo values is great, and the vision range is great, but it's huge. It's huge, but otherwise it's an excellent tank. When it comes down to the final line here with armored fighting vehicles and the tank destroyers, I have to say most of them are shit. Even though the low tier ones are probably great, this one, and I enjoy this one as well, but the tier 3 and 4, you're not gonna spend too much time there. When it comes to tier 5, it's rubbish to be honest. And Swingfire has this interesting arch, how it actually shoots out the rockets. They go up and then you guide them like that, but I wouldn't say that it's a great tank. And as I haven't played these 5 myself, but as much as I've seen them in battle, they're not worth it. And I played this and I played that, and this one is as well. It's not inspiring. It's just a regular tank. It has a rocket launcher. It shoots one rocket and then he reloads. When it comes to the Fox, it has 2 rockets and it has this lousy autocannon that has like 6 bullets in it, and then after you shoot those 6 bullets, it reloads. So it's a bit mad as well, but it's fast. I mean, they're fun. You just drive around with them. But Sphinx is great, but don't go through this line to get Sphinx. Then better open like a Draco and then take Sphinx instead of suffering through all this line. So let me just take that and mark this one here. So thanks for checking out my Dex 3 review, and hopefully the picture of what to grind first became much clearer. I'll probably do some in-depth reviews of the particular tanks in the future, but I just wanted to make this one first, just so the people who don't know nothing about the game have some kind of clue of which tanks are actually good. So I hope I achieved that, and if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Thanks guys.